In an industry fueled by ego, urgency, and constant visibility, Catherine O'Hara committed a rare and almost unthinkable act of rebellion. She chose absence over obsession. When news of her passing emerged in January 2026, tributes poured in celebrating her unforgettable late career triumph as Moira Rose on Schitt's Creek. Yet few paused to ask about the long, quiet stretch that came before it, a period when she seemed to vanish just as Hollywood expected her to dominate it. After the massive success of Beetlejuice and Home Alone, the world assumed she would chase bigger roles, louder fame, and constant reinvention. Instead, she stepped back, not out of fear, failure, or rejection, but by design. Her disappearance was not an accident of a cruel system, nor a retreat caused by fading relevance. It was a conscious choice rooted in clarity, love, and a deep understanding of what fame demands in exchange. Standing at the edge of everything. To understand the weight of Catherine O'Hara's decision, you have to revisit the early 1990s, a time when Hollywood rewarded relentless ambition and punished hesitation, especially for women. This was an era when actresses were told, implicitly and explicitly, that turning down work was professional suicide. After Home Alone made her one of the most recognizable mothers in the world, offers flooded in. Studio executives saw a clear path, more comedies, bigger budgets, wider exposure. The unspoken rule was simple: say yes to everything while you still can. But O'Hara stood at that precipice and felt something others ignored. She saw how easily success could become a trap, how quickly a life could be consumed by schedules, flights, and obligations that left little room for anything else. While her peers sprinted forward, she paused, evaluated what that future demanded, and quietly chose a different direction. The rule that changed everything. In 1992, Catherine O'Hara married production designer Bo Welch, and not long after, she became a mother to two sons, Matthew and Luke. It was during this period that she established a personal rule so firm it reshaped her career for decades. She would not take roles that required her to be away from her family for extended periods. To agents and studios, this condition was infuriating. It limited opportunities, complicated schedules, and made her less available than the industry preferred. To O'Hara, it was non-negotiable. From the outside, it looked like a career slowing down, even fading. Whispers followed her, suggesting she had stepped aside or been pushed out. In reality, she was working constantly, just not in ways that required sacrificing daily presence in her children's lives. Her success during this time simply wasn't measured by box office numbers. Creating without vanishing. Catherine O'Hara never stopped being an artist during those so-called missing years. She simply shifted where her creativity lived. Voice acting became her quiet solution, allowing her to work intensely while remaining physically present at home. Through this path, audiences heard her unforgettable voice as Sally in The Nightmare Before Christmas and in various animated projects, often without realizing it was her. Recording sessions gave her flexibility, freedom, and creative fulfillment without the cost of constant travel or long productions. While other stars were navigating red carpets and international premieres, O'Hara was navigating school schedules, family dinners, and ordinary routines she fiercely protected. This was not a retreat from ambition, but a redefinition of it. She refused to outsource motherhood or treat it as a secondary role. In doing so, she quietly rejected Hollywood's assumption that fulfillment must come at the expense of intimacy. A love built away from the noise behind this choice was a partnership that valued privacy as much as purpose. Catherine O'Hara's relationship with Bo Welch began on the set of Beetlejuice, an environment of controlled chaos that somehow produced one of Hollywood's most grounded marriages. Welch, a gifted production designer, was deeply uncomfortable with the spotlight and perfectly content existing behind the scenes. Their personalities balanced each other. Her expressive energy paired with his quiet steadiness. Unlike many celebrity relationships shaped by publicity, theirs was intentionally shielded from it. Welch never pushed her to capitalize on fame or chase validation. Instead, he supported her decision to step back fully, understanding that her brilliance required space to breathe. Their home became a sanctuary where success was measured by peace, not press. In a town that monetizes intimacy, they protected theirs fiercely, building a life that belonged only to them, choosing presence over performance. While many public figures speak about family values, Catherine O'Hara lived hers with consistency. She made a deliberate effort to ensure her sons experienced a childhood untouched by celebrity spectacle. She attended games, shared meals, and remained available in ways that fame often makes impossible. The industry framed her reduced visibility as a lull, but those years were filled with intention. She wasn't waiting for the right role. She was actively choosing the right life. Offers continued to come, and she continued to say no when they threatened her boundaries. This wasn't sacrifice born of resentment, but fulfillment born of clarity. O'Hara understood something many discover too late, that success without presence can feel hollow. She invested in relationships rather than accolades, believing that time, once spent, could never be reclaimed. That belief guided her through decades of quiet, meaningful work. The return that changed the conversation. When Catherine O'Hara eventually returned to the spotlight in Schitt's Creek, it wasn't desperation that brought her back. It was readiness. Her sons were grown, her life stable, and her creative hunger fully intact. Eugene Levy, a longtime collaborator and trusted friend, understood exactly how to invite her back. He didn't offer her a typical role. He offered her freedom. With Moira Rose, O'Hara was given space to invent, exaggerate, and explore without restraint. What emerged was a performance so bold it redefined her career. The wigs, the accent, the theatricality. It was the release of decades of stored creative energy. Audiences didn't just rediscover her, they realized she had never lost a thing. Her talent had matured, sharpened, and deepened precisely because it had not been exhausted. Validation without regret. The overwhelming success of Schitt's Creek did more than bring Catherine O'Hara awards and acclaim. It validated every choice she had made when no one was watching. She returned not as someone clinging to relevance, but as an artist fully in command of her craft and her life. There was no bitterness in her reflection on the past, no regret for the roles she declined. She had proven that stepping away does not erase talent, it preserves it. Her late career renaissance was powerful because it was unburdened by desperation. She didn't need approval. She had already built a full life. The applause that followed felt earned, not chased. She showed that you can leave the table, live richly elsewhere, and return stronger when the moment is right. The legacy that outlives the screen. When Catherine O'Hara passed away, she did so surrounded by the very people she had protected for decades. That final image answered the question Hollywood never stopped asking. The gap in her filmography was not a loss. It was a legacy. While others accumulated trophies, she accumulated presence, trust, and love. Her story reframed success in an industry obsessed with visibility. She proved that walking away can be an act of strength, that fulfillment doesn't require constant applause, and that talent thrives when anchored to real life. Catherine O'Hara didn't disappear. She chose where to shine, and in doing so, she left behind more than unforgettable performances. She left a blueprint for living well, reminding us that the most meaningful roles are often the ones played far from the camera.